Good morning, beautiful. Why do we meditate? What is going on with these meditations and breath work? You see, meditation is not for you to become a better person. Meditation is for you to separate yourself from all illusions, to separate yourself from the stories that ego creates, this movies, what you can call problems and challenges that your mind creates. Meditation is to separate yourself from it. And you do that long enough, you realize everything is perfect. There are no challenges, there are no problems. Well, then why do we have challenges and problems? We perceive them, right? So, we have chosen to come to Earth, right? And there are things that we can only experience on Earth: human emotions, doing things, growing up, having families, and overcoming things. That includes challenges, that includes problems. But those are part of the matrix. Those are part of the movies and stories that are being played on Earth, right? You project your own reality, but then there's everybody projecting their reality. So there's the constructive interference creating a macro reality that everybody then partakes in. And it's so easy to forget that this is all just a movie, it's just a story. Nothing that's happening is real. And when you separate yourself from it, when you separate yourself from it long enough, suddenly you want your life to be as simple as possible so that you can separate yourself from the stories and movies and illusions and problems and societal norms and stereotypes and what is expected of you from other people. It can all go away the more simple your life becomes. It's a lot easier for people that are retiring early these days. The FIRE movement, where people are retiring before 30. No wonder older people are complaining that kids don't want to work anymore. No, kids are finding out that the rat race and always worrying about things until you die isn't working. It didn't work for our parents, grandparents, and it's certainly not fulfilling us. So there has to be a better way. And that's what people are doing these days. And it's beautiful. I really admire that about young people that wish to retire before they're 30. I have a brother who's an attorney, and he has 4 years to go before he's 30. And he is already well on his way. He'll be retired in 4 years. And then he might just get into public service for fun, just serve the country. So, when you make your life easy, simple, less bills, less things to manage, less things to take care of, it's so much easier than throughout the day for you to be able to take a step back from your character, to take a step back from the movies and the stories and the illusions, and you can start to see the world from simply awareness, right? Because you're here on Earth School, there are things that you need to experience. You have perhaps bills to pay, you need to reply to your emails, and you need to call people back and all that. Yeah, so you can't always be just sitting there in awareness, but you can have a much larger period of time where you can do that, the more simple your life becomes. So meditation is the way you can begin to have those experiences of what reality is, to experience things as they are, not as the mind and ego sees them. And breath work is a way to take you back to your natural frequency. We are naturally a high vibrational beings, but we have contracted so much. We were so stuck in our lower three energy centers generally that it doesn't allow us to move to heart and then up. I realized how fast I progressed in my spiritual practices when I went from having 3 meals a day to 1 meal a day. We're not meant to eat 3 times a day, by the way. That's not good. It keeps you stuck below into your second energy center for a long time. We're not meant to be just gluttonous and just be eating. People eat 3 times a day and then they have snacks. So what is happening all day? All of their life force energy is just stuck in second center. It doesn't even have room to move up. That's why I recommend people not to do breath work right after they eat. When I would be at the retreats, I would barely ever eat. There would be times where I just wouldn't eat even once a day. So we would have a meditation in the morning, and then sometimes, because I would always be with my group, and we would go eat breakfast, and I would dabble with something, maybe, some, I don't know, bacon or a couple bites of yogurt maybe with coffee. And that would be it. That'll be all I eat for the rest of the day. Why? The reason is, first, when you're meditating a lot and you go very deep and you go into instant gamma, especially with breath work, because that's what happens to me. I'm really, really lucky and thankful that I figured out breath and I mastered it. But when you do that enough times, you just don't need energy. You don't need food energy. You consume light energy. And it would be so much easier for me to have unbelievable, profound experiences when my stomach was empty. There was no need for energy to be in the bottom 3 energy centers. It would just shoot right up. And when I came home, surprisingly, I could do the same thing. Now, I do eat 1 full meal now. I'm not just eating a couple bites and then moving on with my 24 hours. I eat at least 1 full meal, but that's it. 1. That's it. No other food will go into my mouth for the rest of the 24 hours. Outside of water, coffee, things like that. Don't stress yourself out over breath work. But try to do breath work when you're not dehydrated, and also when you have not had food for hours and hours and hours. So if you eat lunch, I would suggest you do breath work right before dinner. If you go to sleep hydrated and in the morning you're fine, I would suggest you do breath work when you wake up. It's very easy to master your spiritual practices with empty stomach. Fasting is unbelievable. It's really, really good for you. I'm talking about for spiritual practices, not even health benefits. So, this is what I wanted to talk about. The real benefits of breath work, where you just push your energy all the way up to your brain. Very, very easily you can do this. I'm going to either do a live or explain in a very great detail how I do breath work and how I progressed and how I did some fine-tuning with some of the moves that I do with breath work, so you can try all of them and then figure out what you need to do. And as you're trying all of them, you might think of something different for your body, yourself, how your body's reacting to squeezing, tightening up the muscles. And try to do some yoga, try to do some stretching so that your energy centers and your joints can loosen up a little bit. It'll make it easy for you to master the breath work. And meditation, all you have to do is just get away from your mind, get away from your ego. Just become that pure awareness that you are, and guess what's happening? You're no longer feeding the stories of your ego. You're not playing with the ego anymore. And the ego will slowly run out of gas. The mind chatter will run out of gas if you don't feed it. If you don't get involved in those stories, it'll run out of gas. You know, they say that 95% of your problems will vanish if you can quiet your mind. Because most of the time we are worried about things that will never happen to us. But we think, what if, what if, what if? You know, in America here we have these preppers, doomsday preppers. All they do is prepare themselves for a zombie apocalypse. You know, creating bunkers, putting grills around their trucks, just creating for the worst case scenario. And that's all they think about. That's all they prepare for. Free yourself. They're all just stories. That's all. Cheers.